Life on Earth comes in a tremendous diversity of shapes and sizes. It can be found from the depths of the deepest oceans to the peaks of the highest mountains. But the vast array of life forms we see today is only a small portion of what has existed on this planet during its millions of years of history. In fact, scientists estimate that 97% of all the species that have ever lived on Earth are now extinct.
Most scientists today will tell us that there have been 6 major extinction events that have occurred during the history of life on Earth. The most recent of these extinction events was the one that occurred 65 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs.
Paleontologists attribute these mass extinctions to natural causes such as meteor strikes, floods, and dropping sea levels. But another theory suggests that these extinctions were not caused by nature, but by alien beings.
In the ancient Sumerian text, they can control weather, they can cause droughts, and they did this to humans. They are capable of producing their own disasters.
But were now extinct life forms actually exterminated in order to make way for other, perhaps more docile or desirable species? Was the intent to clear the way for colonization or invasion? And if so, what sort of technology would be needed to effect such a widespread change?
Some theories say that we have that technology now called scalar technology. We heat up through high electrical impulses a certain spot on the water, and that creates a hurricane. And by making a path with that beam, you can track the hurricane. Now, if we can do that, and this is hypothetical, if we can do that, why can't an alien culture say, let's create an ice age on planet Earth? It will kill off the dinosaurs, but pave the way for aliens to implant human beings on planet Earth.
Did alien beings come to Earth in order to stay? Might they, as some believe, have seeded it with their own genetic offspring? If so, where is the proof? Some ancient astronaut theorists point to myths that describe gods coming down from the heavens in order to mate with humans.
Ancient texts talk about the fact that whoever visited the Earth in a remote past, these gods, thought that Earth women were quite beautiful. So in many occasions, we find stories where those visitors essentially mated with Earth women. It was misinterpreted, misunderstood as something divine that came here. They were flesh and blood extraterrestrials.
Native American folklore refers to those beings who came down from the heavens to breed with Earth women as star people.
The star people are extraterrestrial people. They are not from this Earth. They visit. They are star ancestors.
There's a great deal of interaction between them, like some of the American Indian star husband tales where some woman sleeping outside at night looks up at a star and thinks it's very beautiful and would like to go there, and winds up finding herself in the morning being pulled up into heaven and meeting with a supernatural being who was associated with that star and becoming the bride of the star husband.
According to Native American mythology, the brides of these alien beings would become pregnant and give birth to star children. They would be raised by the native mother until the age of 6, when they went to live with their star father. Similar stories of intimate encounters between celestial beings and humans can be found in ancient Hebrew and Judeo-Christian testaments, often referred to as the pseudepigraph, or what many refer to as the Apocrypha.
There are lots of instances in the pseudepigrapha, these are the books that didn't make it into the Bible, where people are visited by beings that aren't from this earth.
Before the Bible became the Bible of today, there were many additional books that used to be a part of the Bible. They were removed in what was called the Council of Nicaea because those books contained too much information, dangerous knowledge.
In Genesis 6, where it talks about these watchers that are kind of angels that came down from heaven and had sex with the women of the earth.
These strangers had sex with beautiful young girls on our planet. How can angels have sex? This is impossible. In our view, angels were something spiritual, not something who has a body and has a feeling of sex, but they had sex. Our prehistoric ancestors could not understand, and they believe that these extraterrestrials are some kind of gods.
The conception of the Christ. An angel comes to the Holy Mother, to the Virgin Mary, and tells her that she's going to be blessed by God with a child. And then, essentially, she finds herself pregnant.
There's an angelic reality poured in the New Testament, whether it be at the birth of Jesus or his resurrection. We've got the possibility of other powers from another world being involved from the beginning to the end.
The more literal version is the idea that Jesus is strictly alien, which of course in a sense he is, as even if you take him as the Son of God, then obviously he is not of this earth.
I tend to believe that Jesus was a very spiritual human being who understood a lot of things that we're beginning to learn today, but it's also very possible that he might have been an extraterrestrial who came down to teach us things. That divine intelligence is very real in some form or fashion.